Andrew, welcome. Andrew's probably the youngest guest I've had on the Tea Shop. Okay, tell us who you are, where you're from, and just a little overview about yourself, and then we'll dive in and get to know you.
Hi, my name is Andrew Francis. I'm going to be a sophomore in high school this coming school year soon. School starts in like 5 days. I'm from New Jersey. I was born in New Jersey, but I currently live in Frisco, Texas. Some things about me. I play the piano and the harp. I'm a fourth degree black belt in tennis, or fourth degree black belt in taekwondo, and I play tennis for my school's team. I used to play baseball. I used to play soccer. I used to play guitar, drums, violin, record. I like to try a lot of things. I like to do a lot of things.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
For-
And I have a bunch of leadership roles and stuff. Like I'm the secretary of my orchestra, and I have leadership in other community groups like YMSL, which is volunteering.
Excellent.
That's good overview.
Yeah. For the folks not in the US, right? What does sophomore mean? Like, what does that mean?
Sophomore
Yeah.
sophomore refers to 10th grade. I'm pretty sure it's Latin for like wise fool, which is like I guess that's what all sophomores are anyways.
Yeah. So a lot of people listen in India and Australia. I'm not sure about Australia if they use the same terms, but in India, they might not understand. So we'll do some translation on as we go along. So yeah, sophomore is pretty much 10th standard. And it's weird the way also the way the school system over here is. I think it's high school is 9th onwards, right?
Yeah, high school starts at 9th and ends at 12th.
Yeah, 9th and 12th. But in India, I think high school is considered just 10th, and then higher secondary school is 11th and 12th. Or they just call it +1, +2. But anyway, Andrew, you were born here, right, in the States, in New
I was
Jersey?
born in the US.
Yeah.
New Jersey.
And as you know, this podcast is not necessarily, we don't just speak only to Anglo Indians, but we speak about anybody who has some relation to Anglo Indians. But Andrew, tell us about your folks.
So yeah, I am considered Anglo Indian. My parents, I believe one of their great grandparents or grandparents, I'm not too sure, were just from England that came to the United States and married. So I do have some like white blood in me and like some Indian blood too, which is cool because like I noticed there are like some nice communities here that I get to be a part of, like Anglo Indian communities. Like we have a nice prayer group that we get to be a part of, and like we all get to have like there's like stories that we get to share and stuff like that.
Yeah. Were your parents from India, right? Oh,
Yeah, my parents moved here from India.
which part of India?
Like Hyderabad and like Secunderabad area. I believe my mom and dad were from there.
Yeah, awesome. Tell us about your mom and dad.
So my mom and my dad, they met in India in like 2000s, like 2000, I believe was the exact year. And then they met there. And then after they got married in India, they came and they moved here, moved to like New Jersey, to like, what's it? New Jersey to, I'm forgetting, it's like a state that starts with M. Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, like New Jersey, Minnesota, like all these different states.
Yeah.
And then eventually, after they had my sister and me, we went up to Canada, and then we came back down to Texas when I was in second grade, and that's where we are right now.
Awesome. So your parents were Anglo Indian and in the Secunderabad area. Well, how much do you know? So let's start with this, right? What do you think is the definition of Anglo Indian?
Honestly, my definition of Anglo Indian is literally just in the name, Anglo as in white, and then Indian as in Indian. So it's just like white Indian.
Yeah. And how much do you know? So if just to set the stage, right? I find Andrew fascinating because he First of all, let me comment on. I was telling him before this started, right? As a teenager, look at his room; it's impeccable. I'm not sure if he cleaned it up for the podcast. Um, oh, it's always like that. I don't know, but anyway, congrats, Andrew. It looks impeccable.
Thank you.
Good job. But yeah, Andrew. I think I've spoken only to one other person. You might know Natasha Pollock, from Indianapolis, I think. If you go to any of the, have you been to the Anglo Indian dances? Has your mom taken you, like with
Yeah,
Sheldon?
I've been there's like these big groups that we go to like
Yeah, yeah,
Chicago and stuff.
yeah. It's pretty fascinating because you're an Anglo Indian and she's an Anglo Indian, but you guys were born here, which is kind of a weird concept. And you remind me of my own kids, right? They were born here as well as I was brought up in India, so it's fascinating to talk to the generation who was born here but still have roots or still even care and belong to Anglo Indians and think about it, right? My kids are not as connected as you are. Maybe you have a wider Anglo Indian community around you. Like for my kids, the only other Anglo Indian they know other than me is my family, and everyone is in India. So they have their daily life. There is no such Anglo influence at all. So how do you think, do you have like an Anglo Indian community? Do you feel plugged in? Because it's funny, right? My kids would not even introduce somebody themselves to somebody as being Anglo Indian, or that. But so how do you think about yourself, and is there a community around you that helps you feel a little bit more plugged in?
Well, so my community, I feel like I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, there's not too many besides like the dedicated Anglo Indian like prayer groups that we go to. Like, when I go to my school,
Yeah,
I don't see like any Anglo Indians unless I'm like actively looking out for them.
yeah, yeah,
Like, unless there's like the overlap between friends that go to school and are also in the community, then I know that they're also Anglo Indian. But I'm never able to like see like there's no like Anglo Indian communities that naturally gather at my school. Like, they don't do that. And my friends, they like to tease me, like, because I'm friends with a bunch of just Indian people.
yeah.
So they like to call me, they just like to say, oh, yo, you're white. Like, I'm just like, no, I'm Indian too. But they're like, no, you're Anglo Indian. So I don't really get many like dedicated Anglo Indian friends, or like there's not like communities that bunch up unless they're like dedicated like
Yeah.
outside.
How would you explain your identity? Like, if have you thought about it?
Uh, I like to, well, I feel like I don't speak any Indian languages. My parents never taught me any. So sometimes I do feel like maybe I'm not like Indian enough. And like maybe sometimes I'm leaning more on the white side because like I do live in America and like all these cultures of like America are like embedded in my life.
Yeah.
So sometimes I do feel like I'm more of the Anglo than the Indian.
Mm,
But at the same time, I do like also do a bunch of Indian things. Like, we eat Indian food all the time, like home cooked,
yeah.
and we go to all these Indian parties, and I have all these Indian friends, and I guess I have the intelligence of an Indian. So I guess I get the best of both worlds. So I guess my identity is more Anglo than Indian, but it's like a nice mix. But if I were to lean more on one side, I guess I would be more Indian than Anglo.
Like, do you at school or you meet someone new? Obviously, they'll either think you're either Mexican or you're Indian, right? It's one of the two. But just if your skin is brown, right, and you're here, and but how would you introduce yourself? You just say like, o- obviously, like your passport and your birth certificate says American, right? But how would you introduce yourself?
I like to actually teach people because a lot of
Mm,
people don't understand what Anglo Indian is. I like to like bring it up and explain it to them. So I'll straight up say I'm Anglo Indian, and they'll be like, "Oh, what does that mean?" And then I'll explain like like the British came to India
yeah,
and like just like that.
yeah,
So I like to give them like lessons along with explaining what I am. I don't like to like say, "Oh, I'm just Indian." I won't ever like just cover it up and just like
yeah,
hide what I am
yeah.
because I want them to like I don't want to like deceive them, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I get it. I think I find it strange when I ask people about their heritage, and then they'll start saying like, I'm 5% Swedish, I'm 10% this and all of that. That's kind of obsessive. I don't need to know like the percentage, but just say like I'm Eastern European an American mix, that's good enough. But saying Anglo Indian is good enough as opposed to like, yeah, I'm 5% British, 10% Scottish or whatever. That's fascinating that, I find that fascinating. Like I told you, I spoke to Natasha, right? She was also born here. But it is, I find it fascinating because the people who weren't even born in India uh, still refer to themselves as Anglo Indian, which means it's more than just where you were born. You don't have to be born there. Neither were we born in England. So we kind of refer to ourselves as culturally having not been born in either place or having no set foot there. But culturally we inherit that, and it's fascinating because I talk to people about Anglo-Indian-ness, right? Especially if you had to grow up in India, you'll be hanging out with Muslims, Hindus, and all different cultures. But not all of them. Very few Hindus, very few Muslims would share some Anglo-Indian ness, meaning like some more Western things. They might go to a dance or party or eat beef or something. So culturally, you can share those Anglo-Indian features, even if you're not an Anglo-Indian, and it's easier to relate to people like who share more of your values. So so you say that you have a sister, right? Older or younger?
She's older than me.
She's
She's gonna go into her first year of college this year.
awesome. In Frisco?
Yeah, and no, not the college isn't in Frisco. The college is it's more in like further closer to Dallas.
Okay.
She's
Okay.
going to UTD,
Okay.
which
Awesome.
stands for the University of Texas at Dallas,
Yeah.
by the way.
And so you have I know Texas has a lot of Anglo Indians, man. It's probably the Anglo Indian capital in the US, I would imagine. Right? Who are some families that you know that are in Texas that you go hang out with?
I know plenty because like this Anglo Indian community like allows me to like know them. So I know like there's this one family. Like, should I say like their names and stuff?
If they no, let's not say names. I don't know. We don't know them. I know Cleona. I've spoken to Cleona quite a bit, and I mentioned her name, right? So does Cleona live close enough to you?
Kinda, not really. She's
Okay.
on like the farther side, but when we go to like meetings, like
Yeah.
everyone drives to like one
Yeah. Yeah.
place
Yeah.
that's like,
Awesome.
in the
I see
middle.
that. I see. That helps. I'm sure that helps. Because my kids and also both your parents are Anglo's. So well as my wife is not an Anglo and she's Caucasian, so they probably have lost their identity. Whereas for you it's a little stronger, which is great. How about your sister? Does she feel the same? I know you can't speak for her, but does she feel the same as you?
Yeah. My sister, she's like, I don't want to like bring skin tone into it, but my
Yeah,
sister is on like the lighter side.
yeah,
So she is like, I don't really know how she feels about it, but her friends are like a lot more diverse than mine. Like I hang out with exclusively Indians. She really doesn't. So I feel like her side of it, like she definitely is proud to be Anglo Indian, but I'm not too sure if she's like more like she doesn't like resonate with it
yeah.
as much as I do.
What What do you think is the most Anglo thing you say? Eh, does your mom and dad raise you, or not necessarily intentionally teach you some Anglo phrases, but I'm sure they throw some phrases out that you picked up and you realize it's uniquely Anglo.
I'm not too sure about like phrases,
Yeah.
but like me and my sister, we like tend to say like we tend to like correct them for saying words like the right way. Like
Yeah.
cuz the way they were raised, they say certain things like not like wrong, but like in a different way that we would say it. So we like to like bring it to their attention like, "Hey, that's not the right way to say it." Like for example, sometimes instead of saying ears, they say years. Which it's like it's not that noticeable, but like we like to like make fun of them sometimes for that.
Oh, I'm not even joking. My kids do that to me all the time. That specific word, even that you just said, which I'm not going to repeat, but 100% that specific word, I'll play this part for them, and they will laugh the butts off because it is hilarious. I love it. That's hilarious, man.
So I
So what?
guess we all are the same.
Yeah, 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 yeah. in the sense teenagers and a little mix culturally. So, what's the most Anglo-Indian thing you do?
Probably like I don't know if this is an Anglo-Indian thing, but like the fact that I don't speak any Indian languages and like my friends when they're talking and they'll suddenly start speaking like Telugu and I'm just like sitting there, I'm just like, oh, what's going on now? And then they're just like, oh yeah, you're Anglo-Indian, you don't understand.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh come on guys, like just tell me what you're saying,
yeah,
So I suppose it's that or I guess it's really just that. I don't because otherwise, like I'm not like Anglo Indian. I'm still like there's still Indian and Anglo Indians,
yeah,
so I could still like do things that they do.
yeah,
Sometimes they'll like bring up an Indian holiday like Holi, and I'm just like they're like I'll still know what it is. Like I'm not like they think I'm clueless sometimes, but like I'm still in the mix. I
yeah,
still get it.
yeah. Were these people born in India, or were they also born here?
But yeah, a lot of them were born in India,
Okay, yeah,
like lived there for 10 years or more, then they came here. So
okay,
like
yeah,
they know all the cultures and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's amazing. Um, so did your? Pretty sure your parents cooked a lot of Indian food, and do they still cook a lot of
But
Indian
yes,
food,
all the time.
like on
They
a
make
weekly
like the
basis?
best biryani
Oh,
and butter
nice,
chicken.
nice. It's amazing. And do you ever get tired of it, or do
Oh
you?
no,
Yeah,
never,
yeah,
never. I
yeah.
could eat it every day for like the rest of my life. It's too good.
Excellent. Have you been to India?
But yeah, I went the last time I went there was for my aunt's wedding, but like unfortunately I haven't been there in too recently. Last time I was there was like a few years ago, but it would be nice to go back there because I feel like I was too young to like fully understand it last time I went. Now I
Yeah,
would properly appreciate everything
yeah.
that's going on.
Which part did you go to? Like the Hyderabad area?
Hyderabad, yeah,
Yeah,
just where my family lives, my
yeah.
grandparents.
How old were you when you went?
I think I was like 7 or 8, so I was really, really young.
You like traveling?
Yeah, I love traveling.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, you should plan, man. It's definitely fun. Like I've been to India multiple with my kids, but most recently I took just my daughter when she was in a sophomore as well, I think. I took her to India by herself, and she every morning. I don't know what your favorite food is. Maybe you'll have to go there and discover it. But every morning we would wake up like at 6:30, and well, first of all, jet lag, so we couldn't sleep. But we'd be at the hotel waiting for them to open, and we'd eat idlis for breakfast. The entire time we were there for like a month, we ate idlis for breakfast every day at the same hotel. So yeah, as you get older, you can get to experience it, and you'll remember it, and you just get to experience different things. Have you ever had idlis?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have idlis a
yeah,
lot. They're nice.
nice. But I'm telling you, you have to go to India. I don't. It's just so different. It's so good. So tell us about your black belt in tennis. No, I'm joking. And what does that mean? The fourth. How many degrees is there in a black belt? And what does obviously a black belt is a black belt, but fourth degree is you probably advanced quite a bit. How many degrees are there, and how long have you been doing it?
So typically in any martial art, there's 10, but in
Okay.
our system, there's 9.
Mm,
So, a fourth degree, to get fourth degree, it takes like a long time basically. I've been doing martial arts in general since I was 5 and I'm 15 now, so it's been 10 years. But I started at karate and then when I moved from Canada to the US, we started doing taekwondo, which was actually a pretty huge difference for us because the karate that I was learning was just hand techniques, and the taekwondo that we learn here is like mainly just kicks and stuff. There are hand techniques, there's still a lot, but there's a big dominance on kicks. So 10 years, but 1 year of it was spent literally just preparing to get the fourth degree. And that's not including the time that it took to rise to the third degree ranks and then the second and the first. So it took a long time, and it because it's such a high rank at that point, we had to fly to the national competition for the high rank. You can't do it at your
really?
local academy. So we had to go over to Alabama, which is where they were hosting the national competition and then there's a dedicated day for high rank testing. So we went there for that, and we did it.
That's insane. And you are you setting out to get all 9 degrees?
But that takes what you at that point you have to basically dedicate your life to the
Really?
thing. So I don't think I'd get there. I'll
Yeah.
probably stop at by the time I'm 18, I'll have fifth degree. So
So what's the difference between like a 9th degree and a 5th degree? What can't you do if you're a 5th degree? Like what does it take? What's the difference?
technically there's no like difference in like techniques.
Yeah.
It's a difference at that point, like seventh, eighth, and ninth degree, there's no emphasis on like physical ability anymore. At that point, it's more like your wisdom and like your philosophy and your dedication to improving like taekwondo like across your area. Like you have to become an ambassador for it.
Got it.
So a ninth degree would like they would write the curriculums, and they wouldn't ever do any physical hands-on teaching. They would more like give you like life lessons and how martial arts applies to real life, and they would try to spread the business, like teach it
Nice.
to other people further.
Hmm. I like it, man. Because what's the difference between, if what's the difference between Choi Kwando and Taekwondo?
I've never heard of Choi Kwando. It
Really?
must just be different. Must have originated in different parts.
Yeah. Because my son did Choi Kwando quite a bit, and they had similar philosophies. Because I've never was into martial arts. I mean, other than the movies, right? But when I took him and signed him up, I felt like it was a very, very community driven, as opposed to come here, we'll teach you how to fight. That's what I thought, right? But exactly like they might have had like the 9th degree black belt, because he was teaching about leadership and how to be a better person. I thought it was like almost joining the army and just teaching you life lessons, as opposed to just defending yourself physically, which I thought was always martial arts is just physical fighting, defending, uh, you know. But I found that very, 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 very fascinating. And he hasn't done it for a while, like maybe like maybe 6 years, but they still send him a birthday card, which is funny. But I do like that concept of being a teacher and leadership, which I think you mentioned, right? Your couple of leadership positions. Tell me about that.
So the leadership positions, I've never they're like you have to be voted in for most of them. So I've never held the top leader position
Yeah,
of like president or anything.
yeah.
I tend to hold like secondary positions below it. So being secretary of orchestra, my high school orchestra, it's like the top leadership like line. So I'm like up there with the president. So what I would be doing is like I'm giving like email updates. I'm letting everybody know what's going on. I'm like the calendar manager, email manager. I like talk I directly correspond with the director in like writing stuff or planning events, things like that. So I help oversee the rest of the orchestra. And for like YMSL, which stands for Young Men's Service League, is a volunteer organization. I'm I have a leadership position up there. So what that would entail is like we help to create meetings or like plan things that we could teach other people and help keep track of other things, just like that.
That's amazing. Those are great. Um, you know, when I've worked with some really, really influential people. I was lucky enough to work with them, and I've learned a lot in the process. And one of the things that I still take with me is that communication, being buttoned up. Like I worked with this one guy who was just so buttoned up. And I learned one thing from him: when you have a meeting and you chat with someone, and immediately after that, just follow up and just say, hey, thank you. And here's what we talked about. I know AI note takers exist now, so you don't have to do that, but still, or from personalize it. Hey, thanks for chatting, man. I loved it. Here's a quick follow up, and that just it says a lot about you. It tells the other person you care. So what are you doing? I'm pretty sure you know that. Um, is going to benefit you long term so you're already there, and I look for that when I hire people. I have to sometimes teach them, even as adults, right? Hey, communicate. So that those skills, those soft skills, are going to be a huge asset. So yeah, keep doing it. just being organized, it'll teach you to be organized as well, right? Because if you're the main guy connecting two groups of people, you have to be organized and you have to communicate, right? So those are excellent skills, very, very hireable skills. That does not come, surprisingly, does not come easy to people, which is just fascinating. So tell us about orchestra. How did you? Are you black belt in orchestra as well? I'm kidding.
I guess I'm just a black belt in like tennis and orchestra too. But so for orchestra, I was originally going to play the violin because my sister played the violin, and it like she could teach me, we could play duos together. It would have been nice if we both played the same instrument because we both already played the piano together and we could play duets on the piano. So if we both played the violin, that would also be pretty cool. So I started learning how to play the violin. Like I took lessons and stuff. I could play like a few scales because I wanted to try out for not the beginner orchestra in sixth grade, but I wanted to get into like an upper class orchestra to get like a head start. But on the day of try the instrument day, which I almost didn't go to because I was like, I'm just gonna play the violin anyways. Why do I gotta like go there and figure out what I'm gonna do? We were about to like sign up for the violin. Then we walked past another corridor and we saw that there was a harp, and we're like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Let's go try it out. So we went to try out the harp. We were talking to the guys there. They're like, you need to have had at least 2 years of piano experience to even like sign up. And I was like, that's great. I've been playing piano for at that point 6 years. So that would have been perfect. Except a lot of people thought it was perfect. They thought, oh, harp is such a unique instrument. That's like a game changer. I want to have my kid play the harp. So there was like there was an audition. There's 14 people that wanted to play the harp in our school, and there's only three harps. So 11 people had to be cut. So there's like a tryout process where you would go up to the harp teacher, like you'd sign up, you'd go up to him, and you'd show him like exactly what you know about like music theory and sight reading and like your repertoire. And I guess I did the best because I got to play the harp along with two other people. Except now going up into ninth grade, those two other people have since quit. So it's just me and my grade level. And another person from a different middle school came up in high school. But now, one interesting thing that happened is in high school, the way that harp has always worked is that you don't try out for a higher orchestra. You just move up. You just go
Mm,
from beginner, symphonic, you just keep moving up with them. But this year, we had like a really rare opportunity because of the way that like certain people had left the program and we needed extra harpists. There was one spot that we could try out for the highest orchestra in high school. So there's a whole tryout process for that. We play some pretty advanced music. I'm pretty sure we play like some actual professional level like harp like excerpts for that. And I practiced really hard for that, and I thankfully made it into the highest orchestra, which is super
nice.
rare for a 10th grader harpist to do, because normally it's juniors and seniors.
Hmm.
So I'm really fortunate that I passed that, so I have the privilege of being in the top orchestra with two other senior harpists, which is really nice.
Amazing. Congrats, man.
Thank
So
you.
is harp more than just strings? Does it have buttons as well, or is it just only a stringed instrument?
Oh, harp is way more complicated than it looks. Like you can see all the strings there,
Yeah.
but there's also it depends on the harp. Like for a pedal harp, there's actual pedals on the floor that like corresponds to different string D, C, B, and then A or D, C, B, E, F, G, A, which are all the notes. So you in the middle position, the note, all the A, like say this is the A pedal. All the A's would be set in a natural. If you push it down, all the A's become sharp, and if you pull it back up, all the A's become flat. So you
Interesting.
can like you have to use your feet while
Yeah.
you play to manipulate those to different
And when you
accidental.
and when you press the pedals, is it like a slide, almost like meow, or it immediately jumps to like the sharp?
It immediately jumps. It
Oh,
depends on how hard you push it. If you
got
push
it.
it hard, you'll hear every single note that
Okay.
you push change down.
Okay.
So you have to be delicate with it.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I knew there was more to hops because I thought it had buttons. I thought it was more like an accordion, where it has like kind of buttons and keys as well. But I knew there was more. That's so something that you said, man, really struck out. When you were in sixth grade, you wanted to you wanted to get into the harp, right? and because you wanted to do something that was challenging and something that would so tell me about your drive. It seems like from a young age you seem to always want better. You're driven, and you go after it. You know, tell me about that, and and how did you get that? Was that always that was that your upbringing, your parenting? Tell me about your drive. It's not a common thing for a sixth grader to even think about such things, right?
I believe I get my drive directly from my mom because I notice a lot of similarities between me and her. It's just something I've always had. I want to be unique and I always want to have like everything figured out before I do it. I don't like to go into things blind. So I have this drive to just like not necessarily be the best, but be the best like version of me, which is something that's nice. Which is why I like at first I was gonna play the violin, but I wanted to play the violin with the upper people because I wanted to be unique from the different sixth graders, and I wanted to like I knew, hey, me being in the beginner orchestra as a violinist, that's not the best thing that I could do. I definitely have it in me to get higher. So I just know that like I don't like to settle for like second best or something like that. I like to try to do what I know I could be the best at.
Do you have strong self belief? Do you think you can do pretty much anything you set out to do?
A lot of the time, sometimes I do have my doubts, but whenever I have my doubts, I just know if I work a bit harder, the doubts will go away.
Have you failed at anything really bad that you set out to do?
Mm, uh, I get so there was these harp competitions. They're called all region, where it's like if you try out, it's like it's not necessarily, it's like a tryout for an orchestra that like everybody in the region is trying out for. So it's like the best of the best. Everybody from the top schools gets to be part of this one orchestra that's just elite. And I've always been working hard at them every single year. Except on the day of the auditions, I always get so nervous because of this thought that what if all my practice goes to waste? And then like my hands get sweaty, and then sweaty hands on a harp is like an absolute disaster because you start slipping on the strings. So it's I wouldn't say it's an absolute failure, but I guess for me it kind of is because like I've always wanted to have it so bad, and I've gotten super close. There was one year where 8 harpists would have made it in, and I got placed ninth. So I was the best harpist that didn't get it,
Mm.
and that was really pretty shattering for me. But I this year it's coming again, and I've been working towards it, and I feel like this year just might be my year, maybe.
How did you handle failure when you were the ninth?
Uh, Pretty good, pretty bad. Like I was pretty stressed about it, but I keep just telling myself there's always next year. Just keep working at it, and I at least get to like tell myself that hey, because I worked at it so hard, I'm now a better harpist in general, and like I know my skills better. Like I there's like special techniques that are only present in the all region level pieces that I get to learn when trying out for them. So I get to bring that into like my normal level orchestra, which is nice. So I'm already just better. So I get to tell myself, at least I'm better. You might not have made it, but you're still better because of it. It wasn't like nothing went to waste.
So, do you have who's your mentor or your coach? Not necessarily in orchestra, but generally, is it your mom? Like who pushes you, or mentors you and
Probably my
coaches?
mom.
Yeah.
My mom is like because I said like she has like the same drive as me. Honestly, I feel like her drive is way stronger than mine. Sometimes she's a bit more passionate about like certain things, like oh you should try this, you should try this. And I'm like I don't know, but like she'll push me to do it. So like we're like companions in that. If I'm like hey I really want to do this, she goes like yeah you should go for it. She'll like motivate me to do it. She'll enable me. So it's probably my mom.
Who's musical in your family?
Both my parents actually, they
Oh,
both played the guitar
nice.
in college and stuff. And my sister, she was played the piano before me. So like I was like raised in like a very musical family. I remember sometimes we would all just sit together and just listen to music, which is nice. So like I don't know if you've ever watched the movie like Coco, which is like
Yeah.
it's like the opposite of that. You know where like the family there's like no music,
Yeah.
they all hate it. It's complete opposite. Music is very encouraged. We love music here. So getting it like I was basically in like the most ideal state to like start playing an instrument because like it wouldn't go unappreciated.
Yeah. Do you the because you did not grow up in India, right? I'm pretty sure your mom and dad, did they tell you stories about how about music in India and how it is such a music is worldwide, right? Everybody has musicians and all, but Anglo Indians are like hobbits. If you're a Lord of the Rings if fan, or if you've read The Hobbit, do you know? Have you are you familiar with Lord of the Rings?
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah.
I think Anglo Indians are hobbits. They like the simple things. They like to play music a lot, sing, dance, and maybe have a drink, and just be merry. But growing up in Anglo-Indian households, right, in India especially, is very common. On a random day, some friend will show up of your dad, and they'll just take the guitar out. They'll start singing. This is not uncommon at all. Most Anglo-Indians have this. Either a friend will come, somebody will show up at the house. So there's always music, a guitar, an instrument, singing, and just bonding over music. So I think that's kind of spilling over in your life with your parents being Anglo-Indian. That's it's good to see that that music and just bonding over music and instrument and singing is such. I would not say uniquely Anglo-Indian, but it is very, very Anglo-Indian-ness, to speak of what we just mentioned, right? Um, so did you ever pick up the guitar?
I did for a little bit. I tried the guitar for a little bit. Because my dad plays it, he wanted to teach me. So I tried it for a little bit, except at that point I'd already been playing the piano and I was pretty good at it. And guitar, it just like wasn't clicking for me. I wasn't very interested in it myself.
Yeah,
So we like tried that for a little bit and then we stopped.
yeah. Let me tell you, you're not going to show up randomly at a friend's house and whip out the harp and start playing and singing songs and making merry.
Yeah.
um, so that's awesome, man. But tell me, did I understand this correctly that that some of your compositions are being played across a couple of schools?
Yeah, that's right. So every year in Frisco, because I actually wasn't aware of this. I thought harp was pretty popular, but harp is like Frisco is like the capital of harp in like the entire United States. Like
No
we
way.
have the biggest harp program. Like that's not even an exaggeration. Like we pride ourselves on having the number one harp program in the United States. So because of that, every single year it's called an annual harp recital, where every single grade from every harp school they all come together and they play three pieces, and they have like this thing where you're able to compose a piece for that. So for like the last 4 years, I've decided to do that since sixth grade. I found it was very interesting because I like composing music. I'd been doing it since like fourth grade, I believe. So I thought, hey, it's cool to play music that people will actually like play out loud and like play for an entire auditorium, which is really nice.
So you just wrote a piece and you composed it and you notated it,
Yeah.
and then what's that process like? You submit it and they choose it.
Yeah, so you submit it to us. Like first I'll show it to my harp teacher just in case like, hey, that doesn't sound good. That's kind of weird. Or like it'd be hard to understand how to play this part, write it in a different way. So I'll show it to him. He'll give me some advice. And then from there, I'll submit it to a teacher, and it goes. And then all the harp teachers of Frisco, they'll have like a kind of like a board meeting where they'll all go together. They'll all review all the compositions, and they'll select the best ones. And then like they always make a big deal to tell you, "Hey, your harp submission got picked. Congratulations."
Yeah. How did that make you feel?
But it feels great. I feel like it's been kind of getting diluted. Actually, no, it has been getting diluted. Every single year, it still feels great every time it gets picked. Feeling doesn't go away.
Wait, you got selected multiple times
Yes, 4 years now,
in a
and
in a
in a
row?
row, yeah. It's nice. So I'm kind of like known in Frisco. I'm kind of not really, but like I'm kind of famous for like being the harp composition guy. Anytime we have like we have these harp workshops too. I can't walk around for 2 seconds without someone go like, "Hey, that's Andrew Francis. He made these pieces." I'm like, "Oh, hey guys, what's up?" In fact, one year people asked me for my autograph, which is kind of crazy. I was like, "Well, like, I guess if you want it, I can sign the piece that I wrote, but it's not really that big of a deal." So I guess I am kind of famous. And it feels nice to have like that position because I used to compose for eighth graders when I was in seventh and sixth grade, but now I just compose for the grade that I'm in. So like I get to play my own piece too, which is really, really cool. That's like a privilege to do that. So I get to play my own piece while I'm like on the stage with other people also playing it. And it's just such a nice feeling being up there, like playing something that you wrote, like for the whole world to hear now.
And is it all public schools or private schools? Where do you?
It's all public schools. It's called FISD, Frisco Independent School District.
Okay,
So we all like all the schools they have like their own heart programs and stuff. So they all just come together into one school's auditorium and we all play.
it's fascinating, man. How else are you creative other than music?
Besides music, I like to for like my leadership positions, I like to make systems. Like when I applied to be the Wakeland secretary, I made this whole system of like how I could communicate this information to everyone efficiently. I have like my own planning document and like I even like made a website for them, which they're like, that's really nice, but we already have our own website. So I was like, I can help you with that website. So I like to help create things to plan. I like my friends sometimes are like, "Hey, I'm really disorganized. Can you help me out?" So I like to help create solutions for them too. I'm like, "Hey, instead of this, like make like a planning document, like organize your life so you can study for that test instead of the night before like you always do." So I like to consider myself organized because I like to organize things like my room, for example, or like documents, stuff like that.
It's amazing. I know you're only in 10th or sophomore, right? But are you already thinking about what you want to do after after you graduate?
That's one thing that's always got me. I have no idea what I'll do when I grow up, and it's kind of worrying me now because I'm like when I was a little kid, like what do you want to be? I'm like I don't know. I'll think of it like when I'm in high school. But like now I'm in high school and I still don't know, and like I'm at the age where you kind of have to have it figured out by now. So I do have an idea. Like I know it'll be something in business because business is like to me that's just like the pinnacle. It like combines all these different skill sets and like it makes you like a lot of money. So like that's ideal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I still don't really know.
You'll figure it out. You've got, like I tell my kids, like you're only in 10th grade. You've got plenty of time in your back pocket. You can spare some time. You can take some, if you lose a month, if you think about it as cash, right? If you just lose, like if you had $1 billion in your back pocket and you lost $1, you'd be okay. So if you take a whole year and figure it out, you'd be okay. But if you're like 60 years old, yeah, that's only like $20 in your pocket. You lose $1. That's that's not good. So don't sweat it. You got time. You got time to you figure it out. I think you'll figure it out. Um, what else? So when you're not playing and when you're not uh, playing your harp or your, it's all classical music, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're not playing your harp or studying or learning stuff or practicing, what are you listening to? Like,
I I mainly listen to just classical music because at first I thought, hey, popular music's kind of cool, but classical music is nice. But now I kind of just listen to only classical music, which is weird because like all my friends, they all listen to pop music. I'm not like that kind of like, I'm not like a nerdy kind of person where like if I hear pop music, I start like closing my ears. I'm like, oh, turn it off, turn it off. But like for classical music, it's just nice because it's simple, it's elegant. It makes me feel very really classy. And also because I compose, listening to classical music can give me ideas for like other compositions. It like helps me like be more creative. But like I also do listen to some pop music too. It's just I've never like dedicated like time to making like a playlist to pop music like I have with classical music.
is improvisation part of being a harpist? Even
It's
improvisation?
more for pianos. Pianos do
Okay,
more improvisation than harps.
okay,
For harps, it's very, very like very static. Like you have to play what's written. At least at my level. I know at higher levels, like they just give you a few chords and you just go like you improvise for that. But at the level that I'm at right now for like high school harp, they just have you play. Except That's not to say that I haven't improvised before. I remember at my 8th grade end of year concert, my teacher, he was very proud of me. He was just like, okay, because at that point I was the only harpist in my middle school. I was the only one in the top middle school orchestra. So he just said, okay, here's the music. Just do whatever you want with it. Just go crazy. So I kind of went crazy. I would add my own chords here and there. And the orchestra director's like, wow, what are you doing, man? And I was like, I'm just having fun with it. So I would do stuff like that. Except at the high school level, at least in the last year, I try to do that sometimes, but it's not like they're just like just play what's written. So I'm hoping that this year being in the top orchestra, maybe it'll be a bit more lenient, maybe it won't. But like improvisation is not like a big part of harp, but
Yeah,
for me, I love to do it. I love
yeah,
to do it with piano and harp. It's a lot of fun.
yeah. So, I work in the AI space, and I'm hearing that a lot of the kids, right, your generation is rejecting AI, right? Is AI part of your life? What are your thoughts? Do you reject it? Do you embrace it? Or which parts do you embrace, or do you reject parts of it?
So I feel like chat bots that like help you do research. I feel like that's perfect. That's what society needs. But like AI that's like replacing jobs, I don't know about that because like I know it's more efficient for like maybe like a taxi driver to have like an AI like bot that will always follow street rules and stuff like that. But at this point, it's more about the like society is for people. It's not for robots. Robots should at most like be helping us, not like replacing us. Which is why I'm like glad that there's like restrictions. Like it can't just like do anything. So like robots should like work with us. They shouldn't like replace us. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Is AI invading the harp world, or the classical, or the orchestra world in any way?
That's one thing that I'm pretty safe that it's not like I'm curious about it. Sometimes I'm like, I'll go to like an AI music generator, I'll like help me, or I'll go to like the chat GPT, I'll like write me a song. And like it literally just can't. Like I haven't found anything that's able like AI generated music is good, but for classical, it's just I don't think it's there yet. Because classical is a very human thing. Pop music, it does pretty well. Because it's just like replicating like synthesizers and stuff like that. But for classical, it's humans are pretty much needed for that.
Yeah, it's like four chords, done historically millions of times, and the melodies are pretty sane as well for pop. So lastly, man, you mentioned this a couple of times that you say you go to a prayer meeting. Are you a pretty religious guy? Or tell me about that.
Yeah, I am pretty religious. Like we do pray at those meetings, but it's called a prayer group because we used to have like these dedicated prayer meetings. Now it's more just we all are Catholic and that's the group. We say a few prayers here and there, but that's not the point of like that's not why we're there for the most part. I am pretty Catholic. I did get confirmed like 2 years ago, which is basically for those that don't know what that is. Being confirmed in Catholicism is it's like this whole practice where like you go through all these like teachings, you learn more about the religion, and you confirm that it's like what you want to be for like the rest of your life, like that you are dedicated to it. And other like first communion and confession and baptism, I've gotten all those too. And we pray every night and like I say prayers like to help me through the day and stuff like that. So I guess by that definition I am pretty religious. But the thing I don't preach. Like I don't go to other people and like try to convert them. I'm not
Yeah,
like there yet. So
yeah. Well, awesome, Andrew. Thanks for chatting, man. I'm really impressed. Uh, I'm really impressed with you. You seem to be. If you ever have any doubts of what you will accomplish, I would say don't worry about it. I think you'll do it. I believe you will. So I'm very impressed with your drive and your hunger to always reach for more and be a better version of yourself. I'm pretty happy that your mom pushes you as well. And that you have a person in your life. So I'm really impressed with what you've done so far, and it's evident, right? It's not even without proof, right? You look back and you see all the things you've accomplished, right? Without getting a big head, but that's good proof and that's good validation if you ever have self-doubt. So pretty impressed with you, dude. Thanks for chatting. Before
thank you
we
for having me.
Yeah, awesome.